Hi everyone, welcome back to the show. Let's check out the movies that came out on Friday and see if they popped or flopped. Okay, here are the results. Looks like Michael actually came in first place. It made 97 domestically, and I think it made over 200 worldwide. So that's what I was saying, like maybe the worldwide, because, you know, him specifically, he's loved not just here, but all around the world in comparison to a lot of other people. So I was just worried that it would cost 200. You know, it did cost 200 million, and that it would be like too cocky and think like, I mean, I guess they made the right choice. I'm just saying sometimes people they overestimate how the movie's gonna do. They're like, oh, everyone's gonna watch it, and they don't watch it. But so I mean, but it could have been obvious, you know, because it is Michael Jackson. Maybe they did like a census or like you know, like a survey and said, hey, a lot of people are gonna watch this movie. Let's just make it as good as we can. If it costs 200 million, then it costs 200 million, and I think we'll be fine. So luckily they did that. But I mean, that's really incredible. So yeah, first place, I said that it was gonna be top 5. I said top 10, but probably maybe top 5. I did say it was gonna flop with 80 million. It was a close domestically, but just because, you know, like financially, I'm sure the movie would do fine, and I said it would probably turn out okay. So I'm glad though that it, I guess, technically did pop with, I mean, not here, but overall, yeah, it made it. That's a good thing that, you know, the global part was there, because yeah, worldwide, that's probably maybe more. There's a lot of people who tour elsewhere because, like Tyga, that guy, he has fans in what? Mexico, South America, whatever. He has fans elsewhere, even though like statistically he's actually not popular or something here in America, as compared to, you know, in comparison to somewhere else. You know, he has big fan bases in other countries. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool though. I'm really glad. It does have mixed reviews from the critics, which I think it's fine, because it's like there's none of the bad stuff, which there kind of is. They do show some of that, so I don't know what the critics are really saying. You know, like there are moments of that like that in the show, in the movie. I think of like the dad being harsh to him and all that. That's in it. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I think. But it's also that I don't think we want to see the bad stuff. We know all the bad stuff. We don't need to like kind of live all of that. You can find all of that stuff. You know, there's documentaries for that. This was supposed to be, yes, also to make money, right? But this was also like a nice gift for the culture and the fans of Michael Jackson. You know, and they made a choice and they said, hey, let's just keep it on the happy side and the light side and make this fun. We all know all the sad stuff. We don't need to live through that again, you know? So it's kind of, I think there's a good choice. I'm glad that it did, I guess, turn out well. I am sure that's awesome. First place though. Actually displacing the Super Mario Galaxy movie. That's pretty awesome. It's probably going to make 400. Let me see. Another week or two is going to be crazy. That's going to change it so much. Here's just like a quick news thing, I guess, about it. That, yeah, 97 million opening. The biggest opening for original film. Wow. Additional 120 from international. So $217 million worldwide. So that's good. So another week it'll make 300 to 400, right? And then it's going to hit over 500 million then. and probably end up with, wow, you know, it honestly could, if it kept this momentum of people seeing it, and then it's so good that everybody sees it again, and then maybe a third time, just for the experience, this could hit $1 billion. You know? That's actually really interesting. If this made 200, and then every week, 200, then 400, 600, 800, maybe it doesn't make $1 billion. It's going to make 800 or 900 million. Close to $1 billion, though. That's crazy. That's pretty awesome. Wow. See, I said, what did I say? I said 80 because, yeah, you know, just because of the $200 million budget. But, yeah, predicted was 70. I said 80. And the predicted total would be 213. Yeah, here's all the theaters full of them. Almost 4,000 theaters. That's almost, sounds like every theater. I wonder how many there actually are. Like, you have to be like a registered theater to receive, like, you know, the movie from the studios. I guess. I wonder if there's registered. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like an actual amount. Like, you can't just start one at your house, whatever. You have to register it. And then I bet you the studio has to put their tech in there to anti-copyright stuff, you know, so people hold their phones up. Like the Disney people, they had the green laser thing. I bet you part of the contract is, hey, we have to install a device that will, you know, repel people recording this. And if you can't agree to that, we can't give you you can't be registered and you can't get the movie. So yeah, these are all the theaters for them. What about Fuze? Yeah, has that Mother Mary had 1,000 rumors of him. What about, so these are all, anyway. So yeah, then these are the rest of them. What else came out? Mother Mary. So that made $1 million. I said that. Yeah, I said flop 70 million, top 15. So, wow. I mean, we kind of moved up a little bit. It was like what, 30? It was way down there. So that's good. It actually, I mean, it got up to 9th place. What was the budget? I guess it had. Oh, I don't think it said. Yeah, I don't think there was a budget released for Mother Mary. Fuze made $1 million. Wow. And no way. Wow, really? That is absolutely insane. Really? It has $170 million budget. Wow. I said flop 70 million, top 15. So it did that. At least it made the top 15 kinda. And I said, yeah, what'd I say? 70 million. That's wow. I think I gave it too much credit then. I really thought it would do better. It has 3 or 4, it has some big stars in it. Like, it didn't even get, come on, it should have at least made 40. That's crazy. It must just look too cheap, I guess is what the reviews are saying. It looks like a streaming movie. And people are tight on money right now, maybe. Again, I'm just saying, like, they're probably choosing. They're like, hey, let's just take a bet and go see this. We can't risk, you know, The Mummy's a little weird. Everyone saw Project Hail Mary. Everyone saw Hoppers. Everyone saw, you know, the other movies, and they're like, well, I guess we'll have to see Michael. We can't risk it. We're on a tight budget, you know. We work a lot, you know. We're going to school. We have our budget for 1 or 2 movies a month. We cancel all of our subscription to streaming because they're costing too much. And we've decided we're going to pick 1 movie to 2 movies every month at the theater. And that's our going out time. And we can't risk it. So we have to go with the big, most blockbuster-ish movie, you know? And maybe they don't have kids. They don't really care about Super Mario. And they want to see something that's fun. So they go see Michael, you know? And then at a cost, these other movies don't get any exposure. I didn't even see any marketing for these movies. You know what I mean? Like, how come? Like, why? What isn't? I didn't see anything for these. I didn't see anything for Fuze. You know, I didn't see whatever the other one was. Mother Mary, I saw nothing for that. Desert Warrior, yeah, unbelievable. What did I said? I said top 15. So it looks, because of what's out right now, it would do better in a way. So, and then I said flop 70 million. Unbelievable. I can't believe it. $472,000. You could find $472,000 on the floor, you know? That's it for Desert Warrior that had $150 million budget. It looks cool. I think they're capitalizing on the Dune thing right now with the desert kind of a movie. And I guess they made the wrong choice. I'm surprised. I can't believe it didn't even make $1 million, maybe 2, at least 3, maybe. Wow. I did really bad. I'm too giving, and I mean, $70 million. Come on. It couldn't. At least it got in the top 15, though. It has 1,000 theaters. What did Fuze get? That's 1,000 theaters also. These lower movies need to do like a bundle deal. They need to figure out a way to have like both actors, or one actor is in both movies, and they're contracted for both. Maybe they're related movies. Maybe the villain is in both, the same villain. So they can save money. They double the movie. They do 2 filmings at once. Whatever. They make 2 movies. Fuze and Desert Warrior, whatever. These are hard names to remember. They're running out of movie titles, by the way. And then bundle those 2 movies together and go say, you know, you're going to go see this movie, Fuze, and you're also going to go see Desert Warrior. So here's a bundled ticket. You're going to go see 2 movies. And at least it's like you can get more views for the movie and, you know, get some reviews, because it's like, I don't know. Isn't feedback important? It shouldn't. I know like A24 has it down because they let the artist express themselves, you know, and they make an affordable movie, but they don't lose money. But the artist still gets to do his thing. Like Undertone. That was the guy's first movie. It cost $500,000. And it didn't have to make that much to be successful. You know? If it's still on here, I thought it made over $1 million by now. No, I guess they took it off. I thought it was here still. So, yeah, it's just like they need to get these budgets down. I mean, come on. You could use AI for most of these movies and film the rest, you know, and have the budget be 40 million and 5 to 10 million was for the AI people. And the rest was Anthony Mackie's salary, I guess, and some like in studio filming, you know, and the volume and maybe green screen. That's it. AI, the rest of it, keep that budget like under 50 million, you know, and then you can make 60 or 70 million and it'll be like you made $1 billion. You just gotta move it down a bit. And that's what the AI is for. AI the rest of it. You know? Like, you don't need to film so much. If it's gonna cost that much, $150 million, come on. They could have filmed most of this movie in a cave and not done any outside stuff at all. You know, or maybe even have Anthony Mackie's stunt double, you know, with a thing on, with a scarf and a mask and everything, and then add in some races and some outside fights in the dust where they're covered up, so you save on Anthony Mackie's budget. So I don't know. It's just like they need to bundle stuff up and get these budgets down. These would have done better, and or make the hard choice of whether or not it's going to go to streaming or not. I know you want all movies to be at the theater. Okay, well, you know, you need to not do that. And if you wanted these movies to be better, you should have done more test screenings. They should have put the test screening out on YouTube, let everybody watch it, let everybody comment, read the comments, and then bring the actors in and fix everything. You know, it's just so easy. I don't get it. Make the movie in AI, scan the actors who are going to be in it, make a trailer or a test screening, but the main scenes, let us get a feel for the movie. Let us comment and then read all the comments, get feedback, and fix it. Why isn't that the goal? You need to get feedback. I don't know. I guess not. I don't know. The feedback thing is hard because, like I just said, if you're A24, you don't need to worry about losing money because your artist took a risk. You're gonna make money easier now, and you're letting your artist express himself or herself and literally be, you know, let the artist be the artist. And yeah, it's just like these movies should have just cost less, and at least it wouldn't be a financial loss. I mean, $1 million is insane. And I mean, less, not even half. Do you think this is even going to make the money up in the next week or two? It has to hit 150 million. You know, like, explain that to me. How can it do that? How can it make up its money in 4 weeks or more? It's gonna leave it in, you know, it's gonna leave it at the theater for 2 months or 3 and hope to God it makes its money, but it's not. It's never gonna make. How long is it gonna take to make $1 million for Desert Warrior? It's going to make 800,000 or less in a week or two. That's not $1 million yet. It's going to be 3 to 4 weeks and then it'll hit $1 million. Fuze will probably end with 5 to 10 million. And then the rest isn't even on here. Let me see. Over Your Dead Body. What happened to that? What? Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Here. Wow. It actually... They said 5 million though. Do you think that's possible? 5 million for Over Your Dead Body, and it made $1 million. It could make 5 or 10 at the end of its run. So, and it 8th place. Actually came in 8th place. I said top 15, so that was good. I said pop with 20 to 30 million. Okay. Gosh, I can be way off sometimes. I'm too generous. I want these movies to do better, and I really just overestimate it. Unfortunately, I really do, like. I don't know. It's kind of tough though. I want these movies to do better. Like these should be doing better. Their performances are they're puzzling. It's insane that these people continue to put this stuff out. Like Lee Cronin's The Mummy, That could have been an A24 movie that cost $600,000, you know? And look, this would be $1 billion, you know, an equivalent, like in comparison to another movie for $600,000 budget, you know, this would be insane. But nope, it just can't. They can't learn, by the way. They also can't learn from A24. You know, it's like, besides their output of films, it's just they know how to make to not lose money. The whole point is to not lose money. I don't get this whole AI thing. I don't see anything going on with AI. If they're using AI, these movies should be like $40. You know, literally, this movie cost me $100. What was the budget for Lee Cronin's The Mummy? It was $100 because some guy, they AI'd all of it. Really? And they made $23 million from $100. And maybe $20 for marketing on TikTok, you know? They sent clips out and let everybody else send them to each other, and that's how they marketed it, for free. That's the thing too, by the way. You don't even have to, these people don't have to market anymore. You can give clips to your fans or whoever, and they'll send it to people. They'll screenshot it, and then the studio just has to sit there or go home. Clock out early, go home. You know, you worked hard enough, you figured it out, go home. Collect your money, you know? Crazy. These movies are, I can't believe these are the results. That's a shame. Do you think this movie would have done better if it was called Desert Warrior? You know? It's like it's so dry out there, but one chef wants to fix all of it, whatever. One chef is going to save the day. Desert Warrior, starring Anthony Mackie. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? And then he's just a chef out in the desert, and he's just trying to cook. He just wants to cook. And maybe he's like John Wick with the knives. He only kills with knives. I don't know. If you're going to put a violent spin to it. But if not, it would just be like a Ratatouille, but in the desert. Ratatouille meets Dune. You know? That'd be hilarious. So now we can check out some new reviews for Michael. Pretty awesome. I'm glad I guess it's successful though, you know. Just because, like, you know, everyone's opinion now with all this stuff, and it's like, I don't know. You know, like, that's what I was saying. They don't need to get new fans because I don't know if you could say his reputation is tarnished or whatever, or ruined because of the allegations, but that is a thing that I'm sure a lot of new fans are going to consider. They're going to be like, oh, I don't listen to that guy, you know, because he's a whatever. And it's like, okay, yeah, but what about his influence, you know, what he did, what he meant to everyone, basically. And I think that's the thing where I said that they're not trying to get new people in. I mean, it's not a movie. It's a real thing, you know, and there's documentaries. So they didn't need to worry about, like, for the new fans, this is for the fans. And I think if there was for the fans, they would put in all the bad stuff. You know what I mean? So there's like contrast, I guess, maybe. But I just was worried that, like, you know, everybody's new opinion would get in the way and all that. But luckily, I guess, you know, it worked out. I mean, I just, you know, a lot of people, they're mad about that. So it's kind of dumb. But luckily, I guess it pushed through all of that crap. It has 1,109 reviews. Pretty crazy. 7 out of 10, a treat for MJ fans. As a kid, it was an obvious fact that Michael Jackson was the biggest star in the world, and no one could really match up to it. But it is really in the recent times when people talk about the biggest stars in the world, you realize that there really is no one who could ever come close to Michael Jackson. That's so crazy. And this film is really all about him becoming the biggest star and the celebration of it. See, I don't know. It's mostly that, you know. To be honest, it's hard to call this a proper movie because it felt more than half of the movie was just the songs and the celebration of it. See, the rest of it was which was the actual movie part, was about Michael's abusive father, about Michael's abusive father, who created all the good and bad of his life. It also made sense it's only called Michael because of how much the Jackson name is what it is for him. See, so it does have some of that in it. See, it's kind of interesting. So it's not like totally devoid of that. Like, it has some, and I don't know why the critics, maybe they're acknowledging it. I don't know. Maybe it's not enough, you know. But even for only covering till 88, it misses out on so many things. That was the thing. It doesn't go through the 90s. What do Michael actually think about his siblings? What does Michael actually think about his siblings? There's so many details that could have made it a much more compelling film. Maybe it is because how much the real Michael wanted his life to be mysterious that they don't have the information to actually explore those aspects. It could also be legal stuff, you know, from the lawyers and the estates. But the thing is, for the people who have grown up with Michael Jackson songs and dances, all the issues with the film become secondary because it truly celebrates the biggest star of all time. Jafar Jackson really makes you forget that you're watching someone else acting, and that's not Michael Jackson himself. And when the movie celebrates that stardom, you just leave everything else and experience it. See, it serves two purposes: to make a lot of money and to satisfy the fans. That's it. I mean, it's not, like I said on Friday, it's not, this guy's not a fake character. There's no, you know, he's not Rocky. He's a real person, and you can't change anything. You can't do a different version of it. This is what happened. You know, this is the stuff that happened. 9 out of 10, not perfect, but yet so very good. To a fan, this film isn't a deep dive. It's fairly shallow. Its main flaw is that it could have been 30 minutes longer to flesh out the story. The narrative gets choppy, skipping over years. So are they aging him up then? Yeah, I guess, huh? No, they probably have a few different actors, and he's probably the main actor, right? Yeah, that's probably it. So they probably aged him a little bit down and then up to his current age. The pacing was fine, though not too fast. Some context for X, what Motown 25 was left out and may confuse non-fans, particularly for not having acted before. Okay, well, this guy is like a bunch of stuff in one. This is what I was saying. That's okay. I mean, I think a lot of new people have their opinion on Michael Jackson. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I don't listen to him. Like, okay, whatever. So I'm just saying, like, I don't think this matters. It's like, you don't know? Well, then you're not a fan. You could Google him. You could read his Wikipedia, watch some documentaries, you know, listen to his top 10 songs, you know, all his songs, and then go see this movie. So it's like, you know, how many new fans, what percentage of people went to see this who are absolutely brand new to Michael Jackson? There's, first of all, no way you've never heard his songs, even by accident, just in the back. What is that? You know? So there's absolutely no way. If you've watched a movie, there's been a joke. Scary Movie, there's jokes. There's no way you've never heard of this guy. There's no way. So what percentage of people went to go see this film that never heard of him before? You know, and then when this comes up, what's Motown 25 or whatever? You know what I mean? I don't know. That shouldn't be a worry, which is why I was saying I think they made that choice. They said, hey, we don't need to worry about new fans. You know, you obviously are a fan or not, and you're going to see this movie. So it's particularly for not having acted before. Jafar is amazing. I heard that too. He's really good. I thought finding someone to play MJ was impossible, but Jafar had MJ's pitch and cadence of voice down to a T, as well as facial expressions and mannerism. That's good. I'm glad they didn't get an impersonator or AI'd it, or, yeah, that there was the videos of those people, whatever, those impersonators. And it's just, I don't know. I'm glad they didn't pick them, because this needed to be, it needed to have the heart and literally the blood in it related to the guy. You know what I mean? So I think it did that, rather than, I don't know, if it was somebody else, it would feel like, you know what I mean? Like artificial maybe or something. Like I wouldn't have that like connection of like, wow, this guy is actually related to him. You know, you know, and he kind of looks like him in a way. Let's see. So it says he dances very well too. As fans, we know that Joseph's behavior towards MJ is watered down in the film. I don't know what that means. But an amazing actor can take the tiniest scrap they're given, run with it, and make it great. Coleman Domingo did absolutely that. His screen presence felt so intimidating. The film isn't perfect, but my spontaneous first reaction was that I loved it. Watching it a second time didn't change that. I truly loved it very much. Wow, they've already seen it a second time. See what I'm saying? This could hit 1 billion if people continuously go to see it. That's crazy. It must be really good in the theater too, you know? See, here we go. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. This is exactly why, like, I was worried that this would be the main thing of this movie. It wasn't though, so... it says 1 out of 10 stars, designed to rehab the image of a child predator. Pretty sure the title says it all here. MJ was a blatant child predator. This really is not up for debate anymore. If you want to go support a film designated to completely whitewash his crimes against children and portrays him in the most glamorous and inaccurate possible light, this is the movie for you. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people just really are on the side of this, like, this guy was just, like, robbed of his childhood because of the dad being so abusive and all that, that he didn't really have a childhood. It was something, right? He made him work and all that stuff. So it's like, and then that could have created some mental issues in his head. He's still a genius musician. You know, like even R. Kelly, the same thing is with that, you know, except him, there was actual stuff though. See, I don't understand that. There is stuff about Michael Jackson, but not so much that there was like actual like lawsuits, I guess. I don't know, like actual trials. There was a few, right? But nothing happened from those. So I don't know. It's just like, and then I was going to finish, though, with that. And later in life, he, you know, the allegations, him in bed with the kids, whatever, all that stuff, it was because he maybe had like a mental breakdown and reverted back to a child. And that's what people are saying, though. I mean, I don't understand that, though. People said that stuff happened, right? But I mean, of course he says nothing happened too, but I think that if you think about it, why would anything happen if mentally in his head, he had like an issue and it reverted back to a child. And so in his brain, he thought it was 10 years old, you know, and because he never got to live that. And he had like a mental breakdown. He lost it, went back to 10 years old and did that. And it looked weird on our side. But in reality, he's having a mental breakdown where he is, I don't know, mentally went back in time and is living as a child. And he has money. Imagine that, though. I mean, it's just insane. Imagine having a mental breakdown and you revert back to being a child, but you have the thoughts of an adult, right? I mean, that could be a thing, see? And then you have money and you're like a rich child. It's like, that's crazy. And you're like, what's that? Richie Rich 2? Or what's the other one? One of those, right? Richie Rich, whatever. There's another one. So, yeah, and I don't know. I mean, a lot of people believe that. A lot of people love him so much that they go, well, it looks like he had suppressed his childhood or whatever, and he was able to at some point, I mean, maybe allowed his brain to do that. It was something he's wanted to do forever that his brain switched and reverted to a 10-year-old, and he had enough money that he could relive a childhood that his father robbed him of. And that's what people believe. People believe that. They literally believe that so much because they love the guy. I don't know what it's like. That is a thing that you can't change. It's crazy. And yeah, and this is one so far. There's a lot, but this is one so far here of what I was saying. I really expected this to be more severe, and it wasn't. It's a little bit more moderate. I thought there would be boycotts, or whatever, you know what I mean? People running into a theater and I don't know, you know what I mean? Ruining the experience for people and trying to boycott it by ruining the premiere and opening day and weekend. So there wasn't that. It was very surprising, which means that his legacy isn't tarnished. It'll be fine. Which therefore they could have actually added stuff in to get new people then. If it really isn't that big of an issue where his reputation isn't ruined, then they could have invested in getting new people. So 10 out of 10, go see it. That's good. A legendary 10 out of 10 amazing movie, 10 out of 10. Wow. That's a lot of 10 out of 10s in a row. Holy. Wow. So this was the king of pop, by the way, not flop, which is awesome. That's so good. Look at these reviews. Holy. You know what's funny? You could actually go to here and you could pick the 1 stars. Watch what they're saying. Watch this. 15 actually out of that many. 15 reviews. That's the first one. 1 out of 10 never understood the adoration of a known pedophile. People say that, I don't even know, like R. Kelly. I don't get, you have to separate the art from the artist. It's like humans have outputs and stuff to where like you have to have an output for things like creativity and all that. And people do stuff also because maybe power, right? Or money, So it's weird. So yeah, this is interesting that I don't even know. Oh, see, now this one is actually 1 out of 10 the worst. This is easily one of the worst films ever made. As a fan, this felt like a tribute, and more like less like a tribute, and more like a careless cash grab. But it is supposed to be a money-making thing. First off, it's capitalism. Second, it was supposed to be a feel-good movie. It's, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, well, those are all the IMDb reviews. We can read some of these Rotten Tomatoes. So 38% from the critics and 97% from the audience. I mean, as I'm saying, I disagree with the critics. It's not a movie. It's not a movie. I don't get it. This guy was a musician rather than being an actor. You know what I'm saying? It needs to be like a big music video and on the music side rather than a movie side. And also, this isn't the time or place for that. Maybe, you know what I mean? I don't know. Critics' consensus, while Jafar Jackson's smooth moves bring the king of pop to uncanny life, this musical biopic mostly plays like a greatest hits album that could have been benefited from including liner notes to give actual insight into the icon. That's so stupid. I read that one already. Audience says, boosted by stellar performances, most notably Jafar Jackson's breakout turn, Michael tops the charts and has fans moonwalking across the globe. Wow. That is incredible. critics, Wendy Ide from Observer in UK gave it a splat, saying it's hard to say what's more disappointing about Antoine Fuqua's aggressively asinine Michael Jackson movie, the details that are left out, or the hackneyed directing choices that made it in. Radhayan Simon Pillay from CBC Radio gave it a splat, saying there's a satisfying narrative in here for fans who wish to compartmentalize their feelings about Michael Jackson's complicated legacy anywhere in the lousy, cliched storytelling, which, to be fair, something. And Peter Travers from the Travers Take gave it 2 out of 4 splats, saying, in a cash grab, intermittently relieved by magic, Jafar Jackson vividly channels his uncle as a performer, but MJ, the man, and all his complications eludes him and the movie. Okay, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, sure. Shiraz Faruqi from Cinema Debate gave it 2.5 out of 5 tomatoes, saying, Michael is an innocuous showcase of what made MJ the king of his medium. Jafar Jackson fully blends into MJ's persona, bringing him to life convincingly, while the film plays it very safe narratively. Yeah, well, anyways, audience reviews, Joe B gave it 4 stars, saying very good musical biopic featuring some of the great songs and moments of MJ's illustrious career, performed and acted. Something. Rashad gave it 5 stars, saying this movie was good. It couldn't get any more better than this. Wish they added more stuff into however great movie. Okay, well, anyways, yeah, that's cool. Okay, so yeah, this movie, crazy, popped with 95 domestic, and then whatever, 200 something worldwide. Let's see if it says it here. 155, so a little bit less actually. Well, they said it was 200 though, so maybe they're gonna update it here. 97, unbelievable, that's amazing. And 217 worldwide. That is incredible. So Michael popped with 217 worldwide and 17 domestically, and came in not top 10, or not just top 10, not just top 5, number 1 at the box office. Over Your Dead Body is the next one. It apparently made, it made this much, 1 million, and then 1 million worldwide. Pretty unfortunate. I mean, I think maybe people are kind of sexual assault. What? Jesus. I swear there's like a violence competition going on. Maybe a full-on ratings war. Like I can make a more rated R movie than you, because I mean, it's competing against all of these. Mostly Ready or Not 2 and specifically They Will Kill You are the main contenders that it's competing with. And I think maybe people are just burnt out on it, or not violence in general, you know, everyone loves that in movies, but this kind of a story involving the violence, you know, like, let's not get a divorce. Let's just try to kill each other instead. I don't know how many couples have that thought. Maybe it's common. I don't know, but I get it. So maybe this is just a poor execution of that, or it's just lately it's just too many violent films, maybe. Let's see. So 17 reviews, 8 out of 10. Over Your Dead Body. Over Your Dead Body is a very funny and gory thriller. See, that's what I thought it would be. Like, it should be funny. It's a dark comedy. The script is tight and makes everything that it sets up early in the film matter and pay off later. There are so many laugh out loud scenes, and it solidifies itself as one of the funniest movies in years, in my opinion. Samara Weaving and Jason Segel are amazing in this and have good chemistry. Timothy Oliphant, Juliette Lewis, and Keith Jardin and Robert Goodman are all great as well. The emotional core to the story is present with the married couple, and I liked how it was handled by the end. Yorma Tacone's direction is pretty solid, and I'm looking forward to checking out more stuff from him in the future. The only thing that I felt slightly mixed on in this film is a certain character getting killed off but that's it. Okay. Oh, maybe because it was like, didn't make sense. Overall, though, I would highly recommend checking out Over Your Dead Body in theaters as soon as possible. Plus, I think it'd be a great date movie. Scorecard for 4 to 5, 8.5 out of 10. Pay full price. Okay. 6 out of 10. The leads carry this film. Let's face it, Jason Segel is a national treasure. His comedic yet sensitive imprint on numerous projects, including Shrinking, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, we know he will go there to make a scene cringe but funny. And Samara Weaving is not just a nepo baby, she's a gutsy scene stealer, and due to Ready or Not 1.5, 1 out of 2, a fresh scream queen. 1 and 2, I guess. Do you think their pairing would be explosive, but it's more meh? Whenever supporting stars Juliette Lewis or Timothy Olyphant are on screen, Jason and Samara quickly get forgotten. The film has a great angle as a bloody, gross revenge rom-com. The script has a spicy beginning yet drags in the middle. It's a great attempt to create a new genre. With all the talent involved in a Lonely Island director, it must have been hard to wrangle all the talent and improv into a cohesive whole. Good try. So, Timothy Olyphant and Juliette Lewis, Timothy Olyphant's pretty known. They could both be more known than Jason Segel and overshadow him. Like, if you put two characters in and then the co-stars are like two sheriffs and it's Al Pacino and, Joe Pesci, for example, and they're doing their thing and it's like distracting from the main character, It's kind of weird. So yeah, this is probably good. 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10, bloody fun roller coaster. 4 out of 10, potty humor but no lead chemistry. Oh, wow. Gremlin Lord 615, I'll read his. Let's see, unless I read it on Friday, let's see. Okay, well, no, I don't think I read this one. Over Your Dead Body was shown as one of 2 horror Regal mystery movies on 4/20/26. Don't worry, it's not a horror movie at all. Well, yeah, a married couple who loathe each other would rather try to get away with murder than get a divorce or therapy. See, positives, fun and creative gore effects, half of the jokes land. Negatives, sexual assault jokes ruin the second half of the film. Sexual assault jokes, there was a sexual assault in it, apparently. Half of the jokes don't land. Urine and vomit humor wasn't for me. Jesus. Leads, see, it could be, but it's like a violent movie, but it's like, it's got this perverted touch to it, like Family Guy humor, or or whatever. But it's like a violence movie. Pretty weird. Leads have zero chemistry. It felt like they were just reading off an insult script. Honestly, this one could have been a more fun ride with better casting and less rape humor. It felt like it was trying too hard to be edgy. It's another throwaway mystery movie offering. Gremlin Lord 615, full review on YouTube. Shout out to Gremlin Lord 615. Go check out his channel and all that. Pretty cool. Yeah, well, I'll leave it here then. 7 out of 10, 7 out of 10. Oh, Sarah Marshall meets Quentin Tarantino. Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, okay. Okay, so here are the Rotten Tomatoes for this movie. 69% from the critics and 78% from the audience. But that's what I was saying on Friday. It's liked on both sides. That's kind of funny. Critics' consensus with Hitchcockian flair, inventive gore, and electric performances. Over Your Dead Body blends tense thrills and playful twists into a satisfying, if occasionally conventional ride. I read that one already. Critics' reviews. Bilgi Iberi from New York magazine Vulture gave it a splat, saying, once the mayhem starts, Over Your Dead Body is not clever or artful enough to really wow us, and it really wants to wow us. Christy Puchko from Mashable gave it a tomato, saying, if your humor leans towards the dark side, you won't want to miss this. Peter Travers and the Travers Take give it 2.5 out of 4 splats, saying Jason Segel and Samara Weaving get laughs as a husband and wife trying to kill each other, but their murder comedy is tonal chaos. 2.5 out of 4 tomatoes from Tom Meek at Cambridge Day, saying that the movie may be more gruesome than its Norwegian inspiration. Though Dead Body somehow manages to make whimsy from the severing off of fingers, ears, and noses. Turns out romantic separation, something. So, Over Your Dead Body. So this is a remake or whatever. So, okay. I bet you the other one does it better or whatever. This is Norwegian. This might be recent then, not like a 50s or 60s movies, you know? Like what Kind Hearts and Coronets was to How to Make a Killing. Yeah, so anyway, I'm not going to read any more of these. Audience, Big Papa gave it 3.5 stars, saying enjoyable for a Monday afternoon. JS gave it a half a star, saying maybe I didn't read enough before going. Maybe I just had preconceived notions based on the actors. Let's see. Don't judge a book by its cover. Heather gave it a star, saying the plot and script of this movie were abysmal. Grotesque violence and sex just for the sensationalism of it. Yeah, I guess. Okay, well, anyway. Okay, so Over Your Dead Body flopped with $1 million. Maybe the budget's lower. It should be 5 million, apparently. Pretty crazy. It'll probably, I don't know, it's probably not going to make up its money by the end. It's probably going to end up at 10 million at the end, maybe, or 8, and then eventually fall off. It'll definitely go to streaming for sure. But it actually came in 8th place. Okay, next is Desert Warrior. It flopped with $472,000. Not even $500,000. Kind of sad. $150 million budget. Yeah, and then in 14th place, by the way. And then I already made a joke. I said, do you think this movie would have done better if it was called Desert Warrior? I mean, we all like food, you know. you know, Ratatouille is a fun movie, so yeah, let's see if there's any reviews for it. 10 reviews, man. Oh wait, was there a AI one? I like the AI reviews. No. Yeah, 10 reviews. 1,000 ratings though. Is that what that said? So 2 out of 10, The Bandit. Desert Warrior is one of those films for me where you can tell very early that something is not coming together. The landscapes are beautiful and the desert gives the film images that do work. You can also feel that it was shot on real locations. Jesus, they didn't need to do that. They have the thing called the volume, okay? Maybe there's only one and DC Studios has it, but you need to go ask them for it, you know? I think they use it for Mandalorian and Grogu, right? I think they use it for whatever that stuff is. Disney has that, or one, or another one, you know? None of that is enough when the story never takes you with it. That is what made it so frustrating for me. The film wants to feel big, epic, and important, which is why I said it's trying to capitalize on the Dune thing, I'm guessing. Almost none of that stayed with me. The story felt messy in many moments, not convincing, and especially in the action scenes, it was often cut in a way that killed any impact. That already bothered me early on. It bothered me even more during the showdown. At some point, I was more busy trying to understand who is fighting whom than actually going along with it. Wow. There is also the fact that the film keeps having its characters make decisions I could not really follow. Information appears, reactions happen, alliances are formed, everything wants to feel large and meaningful, but none of it ever has real weight. Honor is for fools and princesses sounds bigger than what the film actually does with it. Even honor is not a weapon. It's a journey, suggests more depth than I ever felt in the... What? Even honor is not a weapon. It's a journey, suggests more depth than I ever felt in the film. What? That is the real problem for me. Desert Warrior wants to feel like a major historical adventure, but it keeps landing in moments that feel empty instead. The Bandit has a character in enough to carry it either. The Bandit as a character is not enough to carry it either. In the end, what stayed with me was a film with beautiful images that does surprisingly little with itself. The desert stays with you. The rest barely does. Gosh, that's a shame. $150 million. Unbelievable. What they should have done was made it more like some type of desert race. So Anthony Mackie has a reason to be covered up, and then it's a stunt double. So they could save money on that. And then, you know, they could do the volume. They could do they could do the volume and a dust thing in a fan in the studio, you know, or CG. It doesn't matter. Save all that money, make it about races, and then there's some fighting, and at the end, Anthony Mackie's there, and he fights the bad guy. You know, like that should have, I don't know, that should be in this. So that one's kind of interesting. 3 out of 10, better than The Sand, no pun intended. I am not sure how much this cost. A friend told me here about 150 million. Yep. I mean, you won't be able to tell or see much of it, and I don't mean because of sandstorms. All kidding aside, I am a fan of Anthony. He's one of the major characters in this, and this mess seems to be based on something that really happened. What? Now, I can't really tell how close to the real thing this is. Not just because I did not do my homework. You really need to read beforehand or else you'll be lost in the sandstorm. Okay, enough sandstorm jokes. But because the movie's a mess, jumps from one thing to another, expects the viewer to just know who is who and why, makes and breaks alliances in seconds, literally at times, and is generally quite confusing. Trying to make sense of decisions made will make your head spin. Don't even need a storm for that. I really wanted to like it more, and I seem to be in the minority rating this as high as I did. Considering the director attached to this, I am a bit surprised. This could have been better, and while it may feel too long, it also is way too short when it comes to explaining things. Easy paycheck for Ben Kingsley, though. Yeah, wow. Well, interesting. Yeah, that's 8 out of 10, an excellent movie to watch, really. This story affects Eastern culture. I was going to say that. Wait, why? So it's based off of something. Maybe the real story is boring then, right? Maybe it's actually boring. Well, I'm not going to read any more of this. At 4 out of 10, view on the history. 7 out of 10, excited to check it out. 5 out of 10, choppy editing ruined an epic story. Oh, maybe I read that one. 9 out of 10, delivers scale but little substance. And still give it a 9 out of 10? Really? Jesus. If you're looking for a movie led by Anthony Mackie, this is not it. He's in the cast, but his character just pops in and out of the story and does nothing very important. Ben Kingsley's role is a cameo. Also, oh my God. And they marketed it. They used him. But it didn't work, so whatever. And that's the least of the problems with the pacing of this film, which is a shame, because there were some terrific scenes visually, but they were strung together so unevenly, it was like trying to make sense of a rough cut with hardly any context. It leaves you completely confused. I kept asking myself questions, like, why is she escaping? Where did all this elephants go? What's his purpose? What are they fighting about? Eventually, I just gave up and waited for it to end. At most, you can try to enjoy the Lord of the Rings like battle sequence, but otherwise, it's a forgettable movie that. But otherwise, it's a forgettable movie that could have been epic, and they should not have named the movie Desert Warrior when the Desert Warrior himself really didn't do much of anything. This was a movie about the princess, not the warrior. Wow. Okay. Well, that is weird. Here are the Rotten Tomatoes. He looks funny in there. I thought he did a good accent. No? I thought the accent was pretty good. Let's see. So it's 27% from the audience. I mean, from the critics. That's pretty funny. And actually 63% from the audience. What? Not enough then, I guess. I mean, geez. $472,000. Jeez. Critics reviews. Frank Scheck from The Hollywood Reporter gave it a splat, saying the film was shot 5 years ago. What? And is only reaching theaters now, but it's likely to be swept away as quickly as Desert Sands. Oh my God, no. 5 years? Really? Well, maybe they released Batgirl one day. They just released Coyote and Acme. What, Coyote versus Acme? That's coming now. So maybe Batgirl will be on its way, the one that they shelved. So, yeah, wow. Glenn Kenny from New York Times gave it a tomato, saying rather than extend the epic sweep of this picture into the cosmic ineffable, He just wants the viewer bouncing along and rooting for its female hero, and the film succeeds admirably in this respect. Monica Castillo from AV Club gave it a D+, splat, saying, while the story on screen is dull and the performance is uninspired, it's a story around Desert Warrior that solidifies it as a strange chapter in a country's self-promotional history. Okay, so maybe it's more like, yeah, based off of a historical event rather than like a side story, but like actually, you know what I mean? Like a bigger, maybe almost political kind of a story or something. Well, whatever. Audience reviews, Mernaist, I guess, gave it 5 stars, saying, I really like the amount of action and the deep meaning of real moral values. Mick E gave it 5 stars, saying, beautiful real location, desert views, horse action. Pacing is a little uneven, but overall entertaining. Let's see if there's any. This guy, James, gave it 3 stars, saying, good story, but was slow at times, was hoping for a better ending. Okay. Maria M gave it 3 stars, saying, I liked how they all came together and helped each other. Okay. And that's it. Wow. All right. Well, this Desert Warrior, I think it should have been called Dessert Warrior. Then you get a free dessert with the movie, you know? Let's see. So budget 10 million. No, that's what? No, that's not true. Even so, it's still flopped. $472,000. Oh my God. And wow, came in 14th place. That's, I mean, I don't know what to say. It just, they need, look how much of this could have been AI'd. Look at it. Look, like, it could have all been AI'd. None, it doesn't need to be, like, tell me this is $150 million, right?
In exile. The land was ruled by...
That's $150 million shot.
That old man is no longer a king.
See, maybe the money went to his performance?
Against that empire.
Power.
I mean, look at that. That could be AI.
Without mercy.
You literally don't need to even build sets anymore.
What now is ahead? Bring me that.
This will be swift.
Like, I don't know. I understand that everything has to be, like, it's nice to do it authentic, right? But if it's going to cost this much and they're going to lose this much money, how can they be in business? How can they make money? How every studio needs to hope, and they do need to actually have an Avatar type of a movie to bring in the money, you know? If $150 million, I can't believe it. If you were an investor, you would be really angry at these people for that. You'd be like, I want my money back. You know what I mean? Like the scene in whatever, when the guys confront Michael Burry, The Big Short, you know, that movie. It's like that. They're gonna confront the big Michael. I want my money, you know, like. So I don't know. Yeah, how unfortunate. This is I mean, look at that. To get all the horses, maybe that's $150 million movie. All of that to build all these sets. I mean, they went there, right? Apparently they went there. All of that. Look at all the extras. Sharto Copley, whatever his name is. I don't know. What a shame. Unbelievable. So yeah, this movie flopped with $472,000 and came in 14th place. Next movie is Fuze. It should have done better, I think. I don't know. It looks like a bomb movie, and then there's like another plot going on, and it's probably gonna be one of his old buddies planned this to rob a bank and all that, whatever. Right? I don't know. That could have been a fun movie. I think people are saying it's cheap looking. I think that was the thing. We checked the budget really quick. Somebody said 170 million was the thing. 2 million worldwide and $1 million. Unbelievable. That's so bizarre. Wow, look, Theo James and Aaron Taylor Johnson have both been top contenders to play the next James Bond. Jeez. Sam Worthington was also a finalist before it went to Craig for Casino Royale. Holy crap, that's crazy. Wow. That is, I don't know if Sam Worthington is James Bond. Theo James, okay. Aaron Taylor Johnson as James Bond? Maybe? I feel like Daniel Craig had this like new guy feel, right? You know what I mean? We've already seen Aaron Taylor Johnson a lot. So Theo James, I think we haven't seen much of. I'm not familiar with him. Aaron Taylor Johnson, you could name at least like 5 roles. You could name at least, you know what I mean? You could, like, so I don't know. It's just kind of funny. And he's got a harsh accent, though, I think. I don't know. I feel like he's too, you know, I don't think Daniel Craig has that. Like, Daniel Craig has that cockiness sometimes, but it's like, it's like calm down, I guess. And then it's when he needs it, he can like throw it out, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, that was a little off topic, but that's interesting. Let's see. So here's I want to read this. The AI review. Reviewers say Fuze delivers an entertaining thriller with edge-of-your-seat moments, surprising plot twists, and strong performances, particularly from Aaron Taylor Johnson. David Mackenzie's disciplined direction effectively builds suspense throughout. However, opinions divided on pacing. Some found it brisk, while others felt it rushed or dragged. The writing received mixed reactions, with some praising its cleverness, while others criticized convoluted elements and flat characters. Dramatic tension also proves divisive, working for some, but falling flat for others. Okay. That's so neutral. Well, even though it didn't make money, you know, it doesn't look like it's like trash. It actually seems decent enough to watch, even though some people said it looks or seems kind of cheap or whatever that means. So let's read some reviews. There are 35 of them. 7 out of 10, a solid heist movie that could have offered more. A solid 90s style heist action movie with a great cast, however, left me wanting more. The ending was too abrupt and simple, and the numerous twists were not particularly surprising either. Well, they showed a lot in the trailer, and I don't know. They should have just stopped at the bomb part and not shown the rest, because obviously there's something going on. I also thought the movie had some pacing issues. I would have liked to see more action scenes, although the limited budget may have been a factor. Limited budget? You think it really... Oh. You know, that's interesting. I searched it was 170. If it was less, that would be pretty crazy. Nevertheless, I enjoyed it overall. A limited budget might have been a factor. Okay, here's a Google search for it. So yeah, 46 million. I might have just written something else down. $46 million. So, I mean, wow. Yeah, that's wild. That is kind of on the cheap side. I mean, yeah, I guess, you know, that is kind of cheap, even though it's Aaron Taylor Johnson, Sam Worthington, and what's his name? So maybe one of them, maybe some of them are just a cameo. Maybe it's just a cameo, and they're marketing it like Ben Kingsley in Desert Warrior to make it look like he's there, and he's not really in the movie that much. So 46 million. I mean, it could have been cheap because it's not a big, like Desert Warrior needed the money. It's a big explosion movie or whatever, I guess. But this one isn't. You could film it on a street, you know, you could make the street in a big studio warehouse and film it there and never even go outside, you know? $20 million set? No, I don't know how much to make it like a whole street though, like a section of a street in a studio. That would have been better. Yeah, maybe limited budget. So that's why then it does look cheap on purpose. I mean, oh, not on purpose, but the best they can do, you know. 5 out of 10 had me in the first half. The first half of this film is incredibly tense and suspenseful. David Mackenzie's sense of direction is great. The action sequences are engaging, and the performances are really solid. All of these elements kept me on the edge of my seat. For the first half, that is. The second half of this film, however, is frustratingly stupid and convoluted. As the plot starts to twist and turn, the movie definitely starts to fall apart, which is disappointing, especially considering how locked in I was for the first half of it. But by the time the film had finished, I was completely taken out of the story being told. Wow. Okay. Well, it's like Phone Booth, I think. It's basically Phone Booth, but then there's like something else is going on, you know. That's interesting. Well, that's from David the Movie Guy. I wonder if he's a real guy. 8 out of 10, I really enjoyed this movie. 7 out of 10, well-paced thriller rises above others. 7 out of 10, a decent heist movie. 3 out of 10, the most generic and lame movie you could make. 6 out of 10, more of a thriller than an action saga, largely saved by twists in the end. See, that's interesting. 9 out of 10, not loud, not flashy, just pure controlled tension. That can't be real. In comparison to the other ones, a solid surprise. I mean, maybe. Fuze doesn't waste time trying to impress. It locks in and tightens its grip slowly. The film thrives on pressure, building suspense in a way that feels calculated rather than chaotic. What works is the discipline. Every scene feels like it's leading somewhere. Every moment carries weight. It doesn't rely on cheap twists over the top drama. It trusts its pacing, and the confidence pays off. The performances stay grounded, which makes the tension feel real instead of staged. When the film hits its peak, it doesn't explode. It burns steadily. Okay, do you keep seeing this? That's AI. That's literally, look at this. It did it multiple times. Why is it doing that? This is so annoying. It's not perfect. At times, the restraint might feel a bit too controlled, like it's holding back from going all in. Who writes like that? Who writes like that? Final verdict. Not here for noise, here for impact, and it delivers. See? This AI likes doing this little thing it found. It really likes it. Over the top drama. It trusts its pacing. Doesn't explode. It burns steadily. Like, here for impact, and it delivers. Who does that? Cinema wins. Mediocrity loses. Okay. Maybe it's a real person copy and pasting from AI, but oh my god. That's terrible. Okay, we're gonna read some Rotten Tomatoes ones. Yeah, that is so annoying. I hate that. I am really starting to trust and like this Rotten Tomatoes because I think they're real people, especially the critics. And, you know, it has their name and who they work for and what they do and stuff. If I read the requirements to become a critic, and you have to have a big following and all this stuff. You have to be a real person. So I don't think they're bots there, meaning that they're trustworthy. So I'm really starting to believe that this is the best. These reviews are the most trustworthy out of all of them. It's kind of funny. So this has 75% from the critics and 82% from the audience. Critics' consensus, unapologetically leading into its own pulpy excess. Fuze detonates as a solid thriller with energy, craft, and twists to spare. Critics' reviews. Bilge Iberi from New York magazine Vulture gave it a splat, saying while Fuze demonstrates much of Mackenzie's technical abilities and his clear skill with actors, it does ultimately feel a bit vaporous. It's a minor effort from a major director. Wow. Glenn Kenny from RogerEbert.com gave it a 3.5 out of 4 tomatoes, saying in addition to serving up heaping helpings of suspense and action. Fuze abounds in twists. Okay, that's good. Amy Nicholson from the LA Times gave it a tomato, saying, while the outro feels tacked on, upon reflection, it's the missing piece that transforms the movie from a puzzle into a proclamation on group cohesion. Only afterward does it hit us that Mackenzie something. Keith Garlington from Keith and the Movies gave it 3.5 out of 5 tomatoes, saying, I enjoyed getting an ending that didn't lazily follow the usual formula. It also doesn't hurt to have such a crack cast who are fully on board for the ride. They helped make Fuze work as sheer entertainment. Rhea Dull from Spectrum Culture gave it a splat, saying David Mackenzie sabotages most of Fuze to craft a big final reveal that doesn't land. Eric Childress from Movie Madness Podcast gave it 1 out of 4 splat, saying a film that starts with an intriguing setup only to derail into the kind of twist-filled nonsense from the era of the films trying to replicate The Usual Suspects and Wild Things. Yeah, okay. And then that's it. And then audience reviews. John gave it 4 stars, saying good movie with many twists. We enjoyed it. Robert gave it 3 stars, saying story was too predictable, acting was mediocre, and the action was just okay. Roger H gave it 5 stars, saying great movie, starts off slow but speeds up fairly fast. Lots of twists and turns, fun movie and must see. Ashley Ariano Lira gave it 4.5 stars, saying to be honest, I really liked it. What can I say? It's a good time. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so Fuze unfortunately flopped with $1 million out of its $46 million budget. Totally unbelievable. I don't know. Hopefully it is able to make it up. I don't know how. Maybe Sam Worthington and Aaron Taylor Johnson could maybe both give back $23 million each, maybe, or something. I don't know. Surely they have enough money and save it, you know. I don't know. That's weird. Yeah, so it flopped, and it surprisingly actually came in 11th place. So maybe there's some hope for it, you know. Hey, the last movie is Mother Mary. This one looks really good and everything. Has mixed reviews. I don't know. It might just be. I feel like A24, you know, they make these hit or miss films. I feel like what they really are like puzzles that need to be solved. Because like Undertone is very weird. It was okay, and the end is insane. The end is all like camera angles and editing and sound, heavy sound. Like the end, at least it kind of ends like a big, you know, a grand end kind of a thing. People are saying the Undertone is definitely very weird in how like it's slow. Nothing really happens, sort of whatever. And I don't know, something's going on. That's why I'm like, it's a puzzle film. And like this is just, it's got to be a puzzle film that no one's figured out yet. I mean, obviously, whoever wrote it had something in mind. They had a goal, they had an idea, and like they should almost have, like this movie's not doing well. They should have the writer, maybe the director, Anne Hathaway, and what's her name? The other girl. You know, like Michaela Cole, I guess. Should have they should all 3 of them or 4 of them sit down and explain the movie and explain, like, answer all the fans' questions on YouTube. You know, just scroll YouTube and everyone who says, what is this, whatever. Well, what I was going for was this, blah, blah, whatever. Next one. And just, you know, that'd be kind of cool to actually reply to what people are saying and actually explain it. You know, like, what if the guy who did Undertone What if they explained it to us? What if they're like, okay, so people don't, understand whatever. That would be the chance to explain to them what you were trying to do. And then we'd be like, oh, really? Well, that's actually amazing. We'd actually realize like, oh, that's actually a good movie or whatever. Like even Tenet. Tenet is kind of mixed, right? Whatever, because it's so complicated. It's like a puzzle. It's like an extreme puzzle with like a million pieces, and it takes a while to solve it, It's just, this has 5.9 stars. Look how many are in the ones, This AI summary is, reviewers say Mother Mary dazzles with stunning cinematography, impeccable costume design, and a fantastic musical score featuring haunting original songs. See, now that's interesting. Like how I think Trap was with Lady Raven. I forgot her name. Like that movie's pretty wild. But that is just, I think this is what that movie is. It's Trap without the crime part. Just the music part. Anne Hathaway and Michaela Cole delivered captivating, powerful performances that many consider worth watching alone. However, the film struggles with a confusing, nonsensical plot and weak writing that leaves many struggling to identify its purpose. Wow. Engagement proves divisive. Some find it mesmerizing while others feel bored. The symbolism and metaphors polarize audiences, appearing either sophisticated or hollow, depending on viewer interpretation. Wow. That is so wild. That is crazy. It looks so good. It has to be on purpose. If it has weak writing, like it has to be on purpose that they said, well, James Gunn wrote this. Zack Snyder wrote this once. Tarantino wrote this once. I saw this in a Scorsese film. I gotta write it this way. I have to word it like this because it'll get compared to another line in another movie, right? Yeah, I don't know. It's just, that's why, like right now, this director should come out and be like, okay, whatever it is, in the AMA, Ask Me Anything, they need to do this for this movie and ask her right then. All of us, the fans, should be like, okay, what were you going for? Why is the writing weak? Are you not a good writer or whatever? And the writer should be honest, right? They should just be honest and be like, well, because like they're in a privileged position. They literally had their movie made. If they explained it, maybe it'll help change people's opinions and be like, oh, so you're not like bad or whatever. You just had a different idea and it didn't come across well. So yeah, we can go check out actual reviews, which there are only 45 of them. 45 reviews, 7 out of 10, purposely ambiguous in its genius. Wow, see, this guy actually liked it then. Says in his 7 out of 10, purposefully ambiguous in its genius. Mother Mary is a deeply dark and ambitious film that explores the mind of stars gone astray. Stars that have had to avoid the limelight for their own psychiatric well-being. Okay, well, Hathaway's performance as the beloved pop star is masterful. She obviously explored a lot of stars who have been in this position. She has named Beyonce and Taylor Swift. I suspect she also explored Gaga, Britney Spears, and Amy Winehouse, all of whom have at some point in their career commented upon the emotional turmoil their art or celebrity can bring at times. Even putting their career and platform ahead of themselves as a human being, they are not a star. They are a star, not a human, to their fans and onlookers. You can truly see how Mother Mary suffers in her career's absence and comeback, blaming her past success, her current state, and her silence throughout her past tour when she is suffering within. You come to realize upon watching her that although, yes, you feel she is looked up to beloved, Yes, has everything she could ever want. She doesn't have stability within herself due to the pressure she faces. When we first witness her, she displays as an idol, strong, stood beneath quite literally a beaming light. When we next see her, she is surrounded by a team of people who could again give her everything she wants. We come to realize how they hinder her. They care about her career, how she is presented, not her. Guys, just need some more commas in here. Similarly, with Michaela Cole's character, Sam, she has previously struggled with the rejection of her former friend and feels she will struggle to work with her again due to the limited contact they have had. Although she is unkind and rather flat at first with her. Similarly, with Michaela Cole's character, Sam, she has previously struggled with the rejection of her former friend and feels she will struggle to work with her again due to the limited contact they have had. Although she is unkind and rather flat at first with her, we soon come to realize although some part of her still wishes to rage at her, she has forgiven herself in the past and wants to move on with her life. Unlike Mother Mary, who is still stuck and haunted quite literally by her past, she cannot let it go, unlike Sam, who has. Hence as to why that red cloak, the ghost, the past no longer follows her, but it still follows Mother Mary. I shan't venture into spoiler territory, but you have to read between the lines, which in this case is the visuals. Only then shall you see this film's brilliance. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is just you have to figure out like the meaning. And I think that rather than the studio, like A24 getting involved, they let the artist do it all the way through. Like they don't run it through a filter. It's like it's on the person to be the writer. So it might be true that it's like bad writing, but it could be that the writer wrote it in that way, as well as the studio not interfering and rewriting things, fixing things, changing anything, whatever. So that could have been that, and that resulted in this. But this person, I think, she gave it a 7 out of 10. See, and I think it's like, what I'm saying is a puzzle movie. You have to look at it and be like, huh, I don't know. I would love for them, maybe in the future, A24 will host an event and all the writers will, talk about their movies or whatever. They have a panel and the people will be in the line with the microphone, and be like, what was Mother Mary about? Explain it. And then she'll have her chance to explain it or something. I don't know. But I think it's like that. I think these movies are literally, you have to watch them a few times and figure them out. 1 out of 10, no. It didn't sit right with me for many people. Mary, Mother of Jesus, is not just a character. She represents purity, faith, and deep spiritual respect. I understand that creators have artistic freedom, but there's a difference between creativity and insensitivity. Religious figures hold deep meaning for millions of people, and using them in a way that feels mocking or inappropriate can come across as dismissive for those beliefs that, no, what's more frustrating is that it often feels like certain religions certain religions are portrayed more cautiously, while other Christianity are treated more casually. Whether intentional or not, it creates an imbalance that people can't help but notice. Christianity is the most oppressed, hated religion because they insecured. Jesus Christ. These are tough reads. So that's interesting that maybe that's why people don't like it, because it's mocking religion. Maybe. 10 out of 10, beautiful art. 1 out of 10, sort of doesn't make any sense. Wow, look at that. This guy understood it. This guy got the whole movie. This person didn't like it. This person was in the middle. How funny. Misleading marketing, but well acted. 8 out of 10, thank you for existing in 2026. 8 out of 10, another unique hit from Lowry. All right, well, 4 out of 10, what the mothering? Yeah, well, that's so interesting. So here it's 68% from the critics, 57% from the audience. So the critics didn't like Michael, because it wasn't honest about all the negative, bad stuff, right? But then the audience liked it. But then the audience doesn't like it because it's possibly mocking religion. But then the critics like it because it's mocking religion, or might be. Like, what? That is so hilarious. Complete opposite. Wow, that's crazy. Anne Hathaway acquits herself well as a believable pop star in Mother Mary, a modish psychodrama that can be frustratingly obtuse but has style to spare. Critics' reviews, Wendy-eyed from Observer, gave it a splat, saying the individual ingredients in this lavish theatrical film are promising, but while it achieves moments of dark magic, predominantly those in which Cole gives free rein to her witchy impulses. Do you think there's magic in it? Wow. It does something, whatever. Christy Putchko from Mashable gave it a tomato, saying, Michaela Cole is transcendent in Mother Mary. Okay. Caroline Seed from Girl Culture Substack gave it a B+ tomato. For those who can get on its ethereal wavelength, Mother Mary's incredibly moving evocation of the horrors and joys of finding a true artistic soulmate. Interesting. Eric Childress from Movie Madness Podcast gave it 2 out of 4 tomatoes, saying the supernatural element distracts from the already compelling two-hander between Hathaway and Cole, but these performances and Lowry's consistently top-notch visual sense still holds us in something. In his hands, I don't know. Cool. Well, this guy, David Nasser from Real Film Reviews gave it 0 out of 4 splats, saying a complete and utter misfire and cinematic experiment gone horribly wrong that makes a strong case for Lowry's exile from Hollywood. Oh my God. And that's from a critic. Brett W. From the audience gave it 4.5 stars, saying a new David Lowery film is always a cause for celebration. Art that washes over you, immerses you with its deeper resonating message, probably. See, that's what I'm saying. There's got to be something in it. Obviously, the person wrote it with something in mind, right? Calvin B gave it 0.5 star, saying, what the F was that? This movie sucked eggs and swallowed. Jeez, that's intense. See, this movie obviously is like, it's not made like just to waste time or to like for a cash grab, because A24 wouldn't do it if it's going to be a bomb. Or, you know, they have some bombs, but I think they can afford it. I mean, imagine like if you have a lot of like affordable movies that don't lose money and you make it back every time, even if it's bad, you're going to have a lot of money and, you know, and savings that you could be like, hey, we can take a loss here, go for it, you know, and they don't care, because there is some movies that they've had. I forgot which ones. I think The Legend of Ochi, I don't know. A few of them have bombed, and then they should have. That's like $100 million movie. So I think, yeah, this definitely, I got a lot of mixed reviews. I don't know. I'm glad. I'm surprised that even like a critic gave this. This is like a straight up an attack. Larry's exile from Hollywood. Jeez, maybe this guy worked with him or something. You know, like maybe something like that. Maybe this guy worked with him or something, you know, maybe something like that. Okay, so Mother Mary, it's 5 stars. That's so weird. Yeah, made $1 million, made $1 million, a little more worldwide. So technically, I mean, maybe the budget's low. I don't know. If the budget is actually like $1 million, you think it could be 800,000, or you think it could be 500,000? I don't know. Not really sure. Here is a Google search. I searched it on Friday. I guess I forgot. To 20 million. Wow. Really? That's weird. At least that's low. I mean, that is technically low. I guess, you know what? That is technically low. I mean, for it to make $1 million, it should have been like 800,000. They really, I don't see, what do you think about this? They overestimated this movie. They were literally like, oh, don't worry, this movie's going to be a hit. You know? I mean, 20 million is low. So it didn't even make like 30 or 40 million. I don't know. That's so wild. See, but again, if this is true, all this right now, they can afford this loss. They just lost 19 million. Well, no, I don't know how long it's going to take. Like, they have to make 19 million more dollars, you know? So I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. They just lost 19 million, right? Slowly, it'll make up that money, but I don't know. Yeah, so I mean, it flopped with $1 million. Pretty crazy. And it did come in that, like, yeah, so it flopped with $1 million. I don't think it's going to make it up in the upcoming weeks, but it did come in 9th place. Okay, so Michael just amazingly popped with 97 million domestically and 217, maybe even more, $1 million worldwide. The fans are absolutely loving it, and I'm actually thinking if it keeps with its current progress, it could actually hit 800 million, but maybe $1 billion, and it actually came in 1st place. Over Your Dead Body flopped with $1 million. The budget might be $5 million. I think it might have a chance to make, up to 10 million. And it did come in 8th place. Desert Warrior flopped with $472,000. Unbelievable. The budget was $150 million. These films really need to work on getting these budgets down. It's pretty unnecessary. This film did also come in 14th place. Fuze flopped with $1 million. We should have made more, I think, just because of who's in it. The budget is $46 million. That's actually kind of low. I guess it should have been lower. And it did come in 11th place. And Mother Mary flopped with $1 million. Hopefully the budget is low since this is A24. It looks really good. It does seem that it's suffering from maybe mocking religion. And it did come in 9th place. All right, and these are the films we'll be checking out on Thursday. We have Animal Farm from Angel Studios, Deep Water from Magenta Light Studios, The Devil Wears Prada 2 from 20th Century Studios. That's going to be a big movie, I'm assuming. I've never seen the first one. Not really my style. I'm not really into it, but I should probably check it out. Hokum from Neon. And then That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, the movie. Tears of the Azure Sea. What? What is that? From Sony Pictures. What is that supposed to be? That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, the movie. Tears of the Azure Sea. Like, that is so... What a big title. Why? Like, why so much? That's so bizarre. And all these other limited ones. RZA's One Spoon of Chocolate. What in the world? Yeah. And then next week, oh my God, Mortal Kombat 2 and the Sheep Detectives. That one looks funny. Mortal Kombat 2. That's going to be crazy. But yeah, okay, so we're looking at these on Thursday. These should be kind of interesting. So yeah. And that wraps up this episode of Mike on Mike. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you to Rotten Tomatoes, iMDB, and thenumbers.com. Leave a comment down below, and I will see you in the next episode. Peace.